What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and interesting new development. Most of these changes seemingly happening under Twitter's new CEO, Linda Yaccarino, who has a long and suspicious past in terms of towing the line of censorship, demanding people wear masks, and even singing about it, and her connections with the WEF. All of these were red flags that people rightfully pointed out when Elon Musk hired this individual. Elon Musk hired this person because they have a background in advertising, getting advertisers. That's what Twitter needs short term to be profitable. I think long term, X is a thing. Twitter Blue subscriptions, continuing to add value there to get people to subscribe, will be a revenue source. Generating video content, having ads, that will be a thing. Twitter coins, just like TikTok. All of these are things that long term will help Twitter generate revenue, but short term, it's ads, and it's always been ads, and Twitter is factually hemorrhaging cash. Now, I want to remind everyone I do a live stream on Rumble, which will be linked in the description below every day from 12 to 2. So when you get done watching this video, we're talking about this and a whole bunch of other stories today over there. And I hope that you'll join me. Every day, it's more and more people. It's a lot of fun. Now, when Elon took over back in November, whatever this was in 2022, he said, new Twitter policy is freedom of speech, but not freedom of reach. Now, this is a policy that most people who understand the big picture and the fact that, Twitter's hosted on Amazon Web Services, Twitter needs to be available on Google and Apple stores. That's why Google has hate speech policies. That's our Twitter. That's why even Rumble has there are limits to quote unquote free speech. This is what most people understand, except the tiny percent of the population that's like, I think I should be able to post anything I want, anytime I want, and if I can't, then that's not freedom of speech. That has some merit, but the reality is platforms put themselves in this pickle by calling themselves free speech platforms. Elon did it, and Rumble did it by saying, hey, we're free speech, because then you're instantly always going to be put in a position by somebody doing something heinous or saying something heinous, and then you're going to have to remove it unless you want Google and Apple to remove your app from their stores, if you want Amazon to take away your hosting in the case of Twitter. All these things are just the reality of the current internet era. I hope for a day when these things can be decoupled, right? But right now, I think it is a good thing that both Twitter and Rumble and, say, BitChute and Odyssey are providing, and Minds are providing places for people to post with far less censorship. That's a step in the right direction. But the way the internet infrastructure is, until somebody literally creates their own internet, there's going to be rules. Now, some think maybe Starlink is an attempt at that. That could be. That's for a different video. He says negative hate tweets will be max deboosted and demonetized, so no ads or other Twitter revenue to Twitter. You won't find the tweet unless you specifically seek it out, which is no different than the rest of the internet. And that's true. Since then, Elon Musk has taken part in, decrying that certain things, maybe on Rumble or other platforms, are getting removed. And he's shocked and appalled that they aren't absolute free speech. Now, Elon has never said he's absolute free speech because he literally can't be. But the concerning thing is there is a real push here with a whole bunch of new censorship. This is from July 12th. And many of you have noticed an increase in accounts getting banned, reach getting cut down. Well, this is why. Massive censorship at Twitter. Labels have been applied to more than 700,000 violative posts that fall under our quote-unquote hateful conduct policy. We also proactively prevent ads from appearing adjacent to content that we label. Look, I don't have any problem with them taking ads off particular content that may be spicy. It's how are they determining what's that, and how much are they deboosting them? Now, they say compared to a healthy tweet, these labels reduce the reach or impressions of violative content by 81%. Anything that Twitter says might be spicy, is getting deboosted by 81%. And we all know how good automated systems are at detecting that kind of thing. And that's not just unique to Twitter. That's YouTube. That's everybody, basically. More than 1/3 of authors proactively choose to delete the tweet after they are informed its reach has been restricted. On an average, 4% of authors have even appealed, with 90% of all appeals receiving a response within 30 minutes. Yeah, that response is, no, we're not taking it back. And you know what's interesting about this tweet is, this is Twitter on July 18th saying, hey guys, great news. This is for advertisers. Twitter Safety is speaking to advertisers. This past March, Twitter partnered with Sprinkler to, this is just a few months ago, measure and reduce hate speech. By the way, hate speech is not a real thing. It is a made-up thing that is a catch-all for speech we don't like. We talk about it with, YouTube removing videos for this same policy, Facebook, Instagram. It's a mealy-mouthed, wormy way of just banning people you don't like. 99% of content users and advertisers see on Twitter is quote-unquote healthy, and that the reach of hate speech on Twitter continues to represent an extremely small fraction of the overall conversation. This past March, Twitter partnered with Sprinkler to understand, measure, and reduce hate speech using their AI-based model to further commit to create quote-unquote brand-safe environment for our agencies and advertisers. Sprinkler's independent model continues to show the reach of daily English language hate speech. So this is suppression, shadow bans, censorship, right? Of hate speech impressions is even lower than Twitter's own model estimates. Sprinkler estimates the average daily number to be whatever. In June, by the way, this was last month, we significantly expanded our freedom of speech, not freedom of reach policy enforcement, which dramatically reduces impressions on, quote, harmful content. And all indicators for June and July show sustained progress. This is censorship. This is shadow banning, suppression, and it's to get advertiser friendly. That's what this is. There is no, quote unquote, hate speech. I mean, when Elon came out and said, I believe he said something along the lines of, as long as it's not illegal, it will be allowed on Twitter. That is true. You can post it, but no one's going to see it. It's wild. And when did all these new policies roll out? Well, here's some more. Look at all this censorship. Zero tolerance for any type of incitement, any kind of threats or wishes harm on people. I don't have a problem with that, but that's, again, not free speech. Twitter restricts sharing of quote unquote abusive content, engaging in targeted harassment. These are all the same Twitter 1.0 rules. Or inciting other people to do so. This includes behavior that is repeated, unreciprocated, and intended to humiliate an individual with mean words. This is Twitter 1.0 rules, quietly re-rolled out under new WEF-sponsored CEO Linda Yaccarino. Now, so many people love Elon, which I do too. I think Elon is one of the best businessmen of the modern era, maybe even the best. I own a Tesla. My entire business is viable because of Starlink. I even bought his burnt hair cologne. Okay, I think Elon is a vast net positive. But Twitter was never going to be some kind of free speech outlet. They still have thousands of people permanently banned, new permanent bans every single day. Remember when Elon said there would be no permanent bans unless you broke the law? Everyone just forgot that. I started a thread last night about, perma-banned accounts. There were hundreds of new accounts. There was an account today that was permanently banned. I thought there were no perma-bans. All of these, everything that he said has not happened. I'm not going to say he's a liar because maybe he had hoped and intended for this. But remember now, Elon Musk told everyone to calm down back in May when he hired this new CEO. Twitter users in meltdown over new CEO Linda Yaccarino's take on free speech as video reemerges showing she's pro-mask, pro-poke campaigner. Remember this?
Hey everybody, Linda Yaccarino here, class of 1980. We're not here to talk about that. We are here to talk about masking up or packing up. I promise you, we're doing good so far.
Oh yeah, just put that keep your face ID on.
Get your hands washed often, get tested often, and wear your mask. That'll get us closer and closer to normal days. We are resilient. We are tough.
Right? You know, before taking the role at Twitter, she was 11 years as a chairman of the global advertising at NBC Universal. Remember when she's also got her her WEF connections. New CEO of Twitter, you know, Mario Nawfal, by the way, who used bots provably to boost his account and is now one of Elon's little favorites, had something to say then. Sure hasn't said anything lately. New CEO of Twitter, Linda Yaccarino, a potential new CEO for Twitter, is an executive at NBC Universal and holds a position at the World Economic Forum. Last month, during an interview with Elon, she encouraged him to allow advertisers to take control. So quietly, behind the scenes, all of these old Twitter 1.0 policies have been re-rolled out. Grum says, he tweets, I talked about all these posts. He reads in this correctly. You have to look at the incentive alignments of new Twitter to know what the priority is. Ad-friendly focus driven by new CEO who specializes in ad sales, giving advertisers power over speech. She said in her own words that she wanted this. Payouts based on views, incentivizing TikTok mindless quality and behavior because it works to drive ad numbers. Correct. 3, API changes that make it clear Twitter is hoarding text data to itself while also developing adjacent AI company that needs this data. No anti-AI policy. Your tweets will feed the machine and no ad rev share for that. None of this is good for Twitter as a free speech platform, and the money is incentivizing all the wrong things. He's 100% right. I think still Elon is a very smart individual, but there is no